Hi there. After my last video, there was a nice little comment about a character I was having some difficulty with, and that was Gangplank. It was such a good comment that I wanted to make a quick build video for this one champion. It is not something that I expect I'm going to do a lot of, especially since there's already a channel on YouTube dedicated to 5e builds for League of Legends characters, but I wanted to make one for this one champ. So let's see what building Gangplank in 5e would look like. Our goals for building Gangplank, we want to build a proper pirate. With all that that would entail, we're going to have melee and ranged attacks, and we need to have some barrels. It's a very distinctive part of his kit and something that I couldn't figure out my first time around, but again, thank you for the wonderful comment. I think we have just the class for this. Some other things to keep in mind are, of course, the abilities in the game. Our passive is Trial by Fire. Occasionally, we hit somebody with extra fire damage. Our Q is Parley. Occasionally, we hit somebody with our gun and steal a little gold from them. W is Remove Scurvy. We'll need to have a way to self heal. E is the already mentioned Powder Kegs. And R is a massive cannon barrage for area of effect damage. For ability scores, we're going to assume the standard array. We want our charisma to be the highest at 15. Dexterity is next at 14. Strength we're going to need for a multi-class, so that's going to stay at 13. Constitution we want high as well, so we're going to have 12. It's reasonable. And then our wisdom and intelligence are kind of our dump stats. Our race, or species if you prefer, is going to be variant human. We're going to take +1 in dexterity and +1 in charisma. We're going to pick up proficiency with the deep speech language to talk to creatures of the deep. And we are going to pick up proficiency in intimidation as a skill. Our feat at first level, we're going to go with gunner, which will give us +1 in dexterity. If you're playing in a game without firearms, you could also replace this feat with crossbow expert and pick up a hand crossbow instead of the pistol that we'll be using. Our background is going to be pirate, of course. We're going to pick up proficiency with athletics and perception for skills, navigator's tools, and water vehicles. Our class feature is bad reputation, which occasionally lets us get our way just by being scary. Moving on to classes, our first class is going to be in rogue. Skills, we want to pick up sleight of hand, stealth, deception, and insight. For sleight of hand and stealth, we're going to go ahead and grab expertise so that we can hide in bushes and occasionally do a combat swipe. We're going to get sneak attack, thieves' cant, and cunning action for useful features. When we hit level 3, we are going to pick up the roguish archetype of the swashbuckler. That is going to give us fancy footwork to help us dart in and out of combat without provoking attacks of opportunity. We are also going to get rakish audacity. It gives us a bonus to our initiative equal to our charisma modifier and gives us a new way to activate our sneak attack, even when we don't have an ally to gank. We are often on our own on the top lane, so this is very fitting. At 4th level, we are going to pick up the Slasher feat to give our scimitar or cutlass a little more power. It's also going to give us +1 in dexterity. To cap off this class, we're going to take our 5th level, which will give us Uncanny Dodge, making us a little more durable. When we hit level 6, things will get interesting as we start our multiclass into Paladin. We're going to get, among other proficiencies, proficiency with medium armor. We are going to get Divine Sense, and Lay on Hands is how we are going to remove scurvy from ourselves. Our fighting style, I wanted dueling, but we are going to have a one-handed weapon in one hand and a pistol in the other, so let's just pick up defense to give ourselves +1 to AC. Never hurts. At 2nd level Paladin, we are going to gain access to Divine Smite, giving us enhanced attacks. At Paladin level 3, we are going to pick up our Paladin Oath. That will be Oathbreaker from the Dungeon Master's Guide. We're going to get Divine Health. We've eaten so many oranges that we are permanently immune to scurvy. We are going to get Channel Divinity for Oathbreaker. That means we can either command undead should a ruination come about, or we can create an aura of fear around our enemies. We are going to pick up Medium Armor Master for a feat. Again, extra durability for that top lane is important. We are also going to get extra attack, meaning we get 2 attacks with our pistol and or our scimitar. We're going to pick up Aura of Protection, which is very useful, going to give all of our allies nearby a decent boost to their saving throws equal to our charisma modifier. And we are also going to get from Oathbreaker Aura of Hate, which will give us an equal number of damage on melee attacks to ourselves and any undead or fiends that are fighting along with us. For our other feat, we're going to pick up +1 in dexterity and +1 in strength just to round that out. Moving along with the build, we hit our third class, and that is Bard, actually. We're going to pick up the performance skill. We have to get a musical instrument, so I think a nice piratey fiddle will do the trick. We're going to get Bardic Inspiration, Jack of all trades, and Song of Rest when we get to second level. And then we are going to take 5 more levels in Bard. At third level, we pick up the College of Creation. We're going to get another dose of expertise. For this one, we want to go for intimidation as well as perception to increase our vision score. We are going to get motes of potential as a nice little extra help on top of our bardic inspiration we hand out. But most importantly, we're going to get performance of creation, where we can spring into being our barrels. When we get a feat pickup, we are going to get +2 in charisma. That'll round out our charisma and our dexterity at a respectable 18 each. We're going to get Fawn of Inspiration, so we can regularly get those Bardic Inspiration die back, Counter Charm, and finally, Animating Performance, where we are going to animate the powder kegs we are carrying with us so that they can fight for us, dealing force damage and maybe distract our enemies into attacking them instead of us and our allies. This is the perfect trick that we needed to make this build work. We could have just carried around powder kegs from the Dungeon Master Guide and blown them up. However, that is 250 gold a pop. This is a nice way of doing it, and I just love how fun this idea is in-game. We are a multi-class spellcaster. We are going to have 2 5th level slots up at the top, followed by some 4th, 3rd, and 2nd level and 1st level slots. We can prepare 8 paladin spells of 1st or 2nd level, and we know 10 bard spells up to 4th level, plus 3 bard cantrips. I don't feel like running through our full spell list, but some highlights. We really want to pick up Searing Smite. This is a 1st level paladin spell. This is how we get our passive attack, and it's going to be some nice fire damage on top of our already respectable damage with our scimitar. We want to pick up Lesser Restoration to increase the potency of our oranges. Our ultimate is going to be represented by Shatter. I kind of wish this was a bigger spell, but we don't have to pick up more levels in Bard to get something like, say, Flame Strike. I think that upcasting Shatter does the trick. We can also pick up Glyph of Warding to place a long-term trap with our barrels. Some highlights of this build, we actually wound up with a very respectable skill monkey. I can see our Gangplank being the face of the party, negotiating with 18 charisma as well as a bunch of skill proficiencies, and if things go south, we can just activate one of our fear effects and start combat with some of our enemies frightened. We have heals not only for ourselves but for our party. We're pretty durable with 19 AC, 131 HP, and the always reliable uncanny dodge. Our pistol DPR is going to be 37.5 per round, assuming we get our 2 attacks off. And if we get a critical hit with our scimitar and use a 5th level smite, we're looking at an average of 81 damage, which is pretty cool. And that is going to wrap up my Gangplank build. Thank you so much for watching. This was my first attempt at a level 20 build video, so let me know what you thought down in the comments. I hope that this inspires somebody to play their next pirate or Gangplank character in your next D&D game. I hope it's a wonderful time. I hope you have a nat 20 day. Bye-bye.